Hello and welcome to Royal Mystic Collective Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Royal Mystic, and we are going to discuss the third eye chakra. We've been on a series of chakras, and we are in the last physical body chakra that shows up from the root chakra on up. So this is the sixth chakra. It's considered the sixth open energy. And we're aligning our chakras to help amplify our spiritual connection and to allow us to manifest and do things in our lives, creating our best possible experience using this subtle body energy. The third eye chakra age of activation is between 36 and 42 years old. And I find that interesting because that's right about the time when we really decide, I need to figure out what I'm doing here. What's my path? What am I supposed to be doing in this lifetime? I know I serve a purpose, and I need to get about the business of pinpointing that and really directing all my energy toward it. The element for this chakra is light, and the colors are indigo blue and purple. It controls your intuition and your sacred wisdom, that you alone are connected to your higher self and your higher source. It connects you to the all as well. It's not just your only connection, but this is where we tap into that connection. Having an open third eye allows the flow of this information to come through in visual, audible, and downloads of knowledge. When we're connected through this chakra, the pineal gland is what opens and activates that connection. So it's located on the very tip end of your adrenal gland, and it produces a supercalifragilistic melatonin that makes you be able to see lucidly different things that aren't visible to your human eyes. So being in the higher conscious energy, it is very much a place of creative, beautiful, divine connection to intuition and the creativity of inspiration. The symbol or emblem that you'll see on a chakra chart is a down-pointed triangle, which that's a masculine symbol. We talked about that with the voice chakra, the throat chakra. And it has the image of an eye. If you look at it, it'll look like an eye looking back at you. So there's a mantra that I use to open and allow myself to sit in this energy. I receive communication from divine. Being in that energy allows you to give permission. A healthy third eye gives you strong visual focus and the ability to trust your intuition. Your psychic abilities are greatly amplified by your third eye energy, and it helps with clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and claircognition. All of these things are taken to the next level when your third eye is active and open. And you're able to sense energy. You can feel it. You can feel when somebody moves past you. You can feel someone walking up behind you before you ever hear them or know that they're there. You'll feel the feeling of them, somebody looking at you. You'll also be able to recall your dreams with very precise capabilities, especially if it's a dream that's a message or someone's communicating to you. If you have a blocked third eye, you'll notice that you'll have nightmares. You'll be unable to visualize anything that's unseen. You won't be able to really put it in a visual form. So if that happens to you, because having a blocked third eye is not the uncommon, right? Because remember, it has to activate. Just because I give you an age range doesn't mean that has to happen to you in that age range. That's just the most common activation time. Mine activated when I was really young and stayed open. I was able to close it off just because I was trying to hide who I was, but it and you don't trust people, and you were taught not to trust people because it gets really scary. Or back in that time, it did in the 70s. Somebody might come after you. So when you're in that energy, if it's blocked, you just allow yourself to feel how happy and joyful your heart is, how filled your heart is with the joy of whatever it is you're trying to call into your life. And that will help you to manifest. You'll have trouble with being creative. That goes right with the energy of not being able to visualize things. You'll have trouble focusing, and you'll have the feeling of being disconnected or alone, separate. When we're in the energy of understanding these chakras, I'm going through the processes of giving you ways to activate them and balance them. It's just like everything else. There'll be times when you're stronger, the connection is solid, and there'll be times when you struggle to get focus, right? Depends on what's going on around you, planetary alignment, other people's energy, and the more sensitive you get, right? It affects you more. So the crystals that help do that are Sapphire, Amethyst, Sodalite, Iolite, Tanzanite, Lapis Lazuli, and blue Kyanite. Now, a quick note about Iolite. It is the old navigation stone that people used, sailors used it to help navigate and circumvent the earth. Or circumnavigate the earth, not circumvent the earth. Circumnavigate the globe. They used it as a visual aid to help. I guess it was really thin. You could make it really thin, and the light would pass through it, and they could see where they were. The physical effects of having a blocked pineal gland come from its calcification, and people believe that fluoride is one of the things that blocks it. I'm sure mine was semi-calcified. It depends on how your body works and how your energy works. I've always been able to use my third eye, but I think it's because this is my destiny to be able to do things like this in this lifetime, as a teacher, as a leader, as trying to help people find their own energy. So I believe that's why mine's active regardless. But if you feel like that's happening, we've got some food and some different things that can help you to decalcify it. It also helps decalcify your arteries. So to balance it through food is to use oregano oil, neem, NEEM extract, anything with a lot of chlorophyll, so dark green greens, okay? Spirulina, kale, cilantro, wheatgrass, blue-green algae, blueberries, eggplant, raw apple cider vinegar. It's the acidity or the alkalinity that does it. Beets, plums, garlic, bananas, coconut oil, raw lemon juice, and watermelon. So when I started making the list and going through doing my research, I noticed some really standout items that I started to crave and eat in pretty large quantities. Kale being one of them, cilantro. I also started to eat beets. I love pickled beets. I've talked about this before. Coconut oil, I put it in my coffee. And watermelon. I had this insatiable craving for watermelon like throughout the year. So I didn't know why I wanted these things. I just thought, okay, this is my latest thing. But now I see why, because I was starting to activate this energy or help support its activation. Now, here's something I've never heard of, and I'm going to throw it out there to you. Please do your research. I'm not touting any of this, but there's something called, I'd never ever heard of its likeness, organic blue ice skate fish oil. I didn't know there was a blue ice skate fish. there is. And something called Activator X. It's supposed to help with the decalcification. Like I said, check with your doctor before you take anything new. Make sure that you're all good. And make sure it's legit. If you want to try it, that's, you've been told. I don't know how it works. I just thought it was interesting and of note. Now, we can move into the essential oils, which help to reset or balance the energy of the third eye. First and foremost, my go-to for all, Clary sage, rosemary, frankincense and myrrh, juniper, bay laurel. Now, bay leaves are the bay laurel. You put those in your food, so it would be really good to cook with it. It's really good to put in your stew, and if you're making a roast beef, just one leaf, you don't grind it up, you just put the whole leaf in there, and when you're through cooking, you don't eat it, you toss it. Then you have cypress and sandalwood. These are just a few. I'm sure there are a whole bunch more. So now, one of the next steps to do is some affirmations. Is where you allow yourself to sit in this energy. And the first one, the really most important one, is to realize you are a divine being having a human experience. So when you say the words, I am divine, it's not arrogance. And it's not trying to be more than God. You are connected to Source, and you are a divine being. So saying I am divine is complimenting the fact that you're in the divine flow. I trust my intuition. I am guided and protected on my journey. I clear away all blockages and allow myself to see beyond the veil. Divine is my source, and I trust divine. I have divine clarity and am awake in my spirit. Now, there's also yoga poses that accompany the energy of allowing yourself to be aligned with this, and it allows you to do several things, one of which I didn't know was a yoga pose. I use candles a lot in my meditations and when I'm doing work to do readings and different things. My candles always have a purpose, so they're usually imbibed with oils and crystals and different things. So candle gazing was the first thing I was really like, oh, that's a thing. So it helps your third eye, and it's something I've always done since I was a kid. I remember somebody telling me if I kept staring at the candle, I was going to pee the bed as a kid. And I thought, no, I've never done that. But hey, so there's a warning. If that's an old wives' tale, but if that's not your thing, there's also the child pose, the wide leg forward fold, an alternate nostril breathing. That's to help balance the masculine, feminine, the creative, the logical mind, and allow yourself to bring that airflow into each side of the brain. And this chant is Om. When you do Om, it's supposed to be the sound of the earth, the sound the earth makes, the resonant sound, and it is the I am. Okay, so being in, and you drag it out. Om. And when you do your meditation, you can do the meditation while you're making that sound. And to expand your third eye, the best meditation I've used for it is to close your eyes and to allow yourself to go into the emptiness. It's not darkness, it's not light. It could be either just emptiness, where there's nothing physically around you. And you allow your eyes to come across your nose, the bridge of your nose, and then you look up towards your forehead. When you do that, you're looking straight through the lens that you've asked the veil to be lifted from. Now, the pineal gland is the actual mechanism which brings the energy to focus right through that forehead, third eye lens. So the pineal gland is directly behind where you're looking. It's if you took your finger and poked it straight in through your eyebrows, right there in the center of your nose, and could touch the backside, you would hit the pineal gland. So that's where it's located in your head, toward the back of your head, but right through the same location. And when you're in that energy, your eyes are going to feel a little strained because they're crossed and they're looking up, and your eyes are closed, and you're going to feel maybe a little ache. You don't want to do it so long that it's really painful, but try to push past it for just a little bit longer than you would. Don't quit immediately. And the longer that you keep practicing this, it'll eventually, you won't notice that feeling anymore. It's just a little bit of strain to the muscles because you're not used to that particular exercise. But if you allow yourself, what happened for me was that I immediately went into a vision of an eye, and I believe it was me. I felt like, you've heard of the term the observer. I was being observed, or I was the observer. I can't tell you at that moment which I was because it was the very first time that I had that experience. But I was looking at this eye that was looking at me. So it brought me straight to the point of you are what you are what you seek. What you're seeking is also seeking you, right? So, and I wasn't afraid. It was very calm, and it felt like it was my eye, which is one of the reasons why that logo is my eye in that color that it is, because that's the experience that was so profound when I had it. Now, it's just enough to allow you to do this every day and let yourself, even if you don't see anything, it's okay. Keep doing it. Because what you're doing every time you sit down and you give the intention that you're allowing the universe to communicate to you, you want to be in the place of open energy, you're giving permission. And eventually, you'll have the experience of being open in that energy. One of the ways you can open your third eye, it's a little complicated, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. If you do Kegels, then you know what muscle group I'm talking about, and it's your pelvic floor. So the spinal fluid is what activates the pineal gland. So what you have to do is be able to think of it like if you have a water balloon, you squeeze it in the middle, it's going to pop out from top to bottom, right? It's going to just, the water will displace and go on the top of your hand and the bottom of your hand. So that's the kind of compression we want to do. But what you're going to do is tighten up your floor first, your pelvic floor. Then you're going to gradually start tightening up from the pelvic girdle, then up into your middle abdomen around your belly button, and then higher into your upper abdomen. And you're just going to gradually set those muscles into motion and hold each one as you go. You don't want to release yet. So make a little stair step up your spine as you concentrate and hold your breath. Focus to the top of your head, and you'll feel the top of your head kind of ache, and then release it. And so then the fluid will move. So it's what you're trying to do is create this energy of flow where it kind of bumps that pineal gland and gives it the little thrust of spinal fluid that it needs, because on the outside of that pineal gland, it looks just like a pine cone. It's very tiny, about the size of your pinky finger. And those little hairs that are on the outside of that each little petal of that little pine cone, they're cilia. They're tiny little hairs. And when you push that spinal fluid past them, it stimulates it to create that supercharged, supercalifragilistic melatonin that comes out that allows the visualizations, and it's very, very beautiful energy. It is being able to see new things that you've never seen before. So it's that kind of experience is why everybody really wants their third eye open, because it is quite a cosmic experience. So allow yourself to try these things, and I hope that you enjoy the experience of opening this chakra and allowing yourself to be a vessel for the universe to help mankind, as it were, because man, do we ever need it, now more than ever. As always, it's always the time of new beginnings as we move forward, bringing ourselves to be active in our own energy of connection to Source. So with that, I will leave you and send a prayer with you and bless you as you move forward, allowing all good things to move toward you with love and light, having a divine, beautiful healing experience, sending you all prosperity, abundance, peace, protection, divine, wonderful happiness, joy, and peace, above all peace, to you all. Many blessings, my dear friends. I'll see you next week. Namaste.